Tom, very well played. A couple of days on from the heroics at Cheltenham, another match-winning performance here, and from a situation that looked almost to have gone.
Yeah, it's nice to carry on that form. Like personally, it's nice to get the team over the line this time. It's something that I kicked myself at the end of the last game. So yeah, to be there at the end and to have Brody coming in at number 9 is. To be fair, when the team got picked, I thought I'd be slotting down to number 9, so I was quite happy I kept my place at 8, but yeah, it worked out in the end all right.
I'm just wondering if he's ever batted at number 9 in his career before.
I know he did say that at the end. He said he didn't expect to, when he made his List A debut, to be coming in and bowling in the 11th over or whatever he did, and batting at number 9, but he played superbly. Shows the depth. When you've got that depth, you can keep going.
58 needed off the last 5 overs, and in the end, you and he put on 70 off 36 balls, which is decent go. He's pushing 12 and over. What was the thinking? You just the big over. We were saying up in commentary, you probably needed a 20 over just to get back in the game, and in the end, you had a 25. Just kick-started things.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, I think me and Brody played a bit of T20 cricket together, and we read that situation quite well about what their options would be. That was the over they're probably his last over of spin before we go into, and that was the over that we perhaps were thinking about trying to get boundaries from that end. It was different when the guys were bowling this end. We had the wind with us, and it was perhaps easier to try and get some boundaries. But against a spinner, it was hard to hit straight down the ground, and then obviously a big leg side boundary. So we thought that was the over to try and utilise that reverse sweep, and it came off, and yeah, kick-started the chase.
Talk to us a little bit about the surface, because at 100 for 2, it looked as though Northamptonshire were cruising it, really. Perhaps was it a question of the balls getting a little bit softer, and all of a sudden 5 wickets fell in the blink of an eye, and it became a very different game?
Yeah, a little bit. I think they played the game really well with bringing extra man in and squeezing the game and restricting, and they took a handy wicket with losing Sam, and then Vasco and Proc were tough with only 1 or 2 people out of the ring. It's tough to kind of rotate, so that was a bit of a learning for us in those tight game situations. It's something that we can do as well, but they played that really well, and they forced us to take risks, and they got wickets through the reward of that. So it's perhaps somewhere where we've chatted just after the game is kind of you're always a little bit too many wickets down to try and take those risks really early, because you then risk not facing as many overs. But it worked out because me and Brody took us home at the end, but that was definitely a learning that we've just spoke about.
And a word about Lewis McManus. You see how difficult it was at one stage. I think it was the squeeze was the extent of 8 runs in 5 overs. I know he obviously used up a lot of deliveries, but he had to, as you say, probably play the way he did and just keep us in the game and give you the chance to finish it off.
Yeah, definitely. Once we lost those wickets, it was always a case of taking it deep and hoping that myself, Brody and Lewis, those guys that have played a lot of T20 cricket, can take us home, needing 8s, 9s, 10s and over, especially with the wind howling and a short side. We felt like we were still in the game at that point. But if we'd have run out of wickets and get into 12, 15 and over, I think that would have been tough.
It's difficult to know in these circumstances and the immediate aftermath of a win like that to look at a bigger picture, but it does seem as though that's almost breathed fresh life into Northamptonshire season. If you lose that one, then you'd have to win 5 of the last 6. That becomes a very difficult ask, as it is Wednesday against Somerset, and full of confidence, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think we played a decent game at Cheltenham as well. Obviously, we didn't bat well in the power play, but with the amount of batters that we got bat right down to number 9 with Brody coming in, like I said after that game, I think we're going to take some teams down, and unfortunately today wasn't that case, but they'll fire, and I've no doubt it might be the next game. So I think we're set up quite well. Obviously it's nice to get the win on the board early, but we weren't panicking at that point.
And I was just thinking, 60 years on from when Northamptonshire played Sussex here in the first ever Gillette Cup semi-final, 5,000 people in. That was a great game. So was this. It's not a bad format, is it?
No, I quite enjoy the format. It's quite a long time in the field. Keeping busy during that middle period is running long on to the spinners is quite a tiring day. But yeah, I enjoy this format. It's good. It's quite short and sharp with 8 games in 17 days or whatever it is. So it does take its toll on the body, but it's a good comp.